My name is Moon Petrie, and I'm doing the Defying Writer Stereotypes tag. The original was by Eileen Nestman. I was tagged by Joey Paul, who knew that I would have a relatively easy time with this one. It's short, sweet, and fun, and perfect for when I am a little crazed with lack of sleep and don't have a lot of time between things I have to do for my baby and my other kids. I'm a little distracted as my cat Norbert has discovered a housefly and is climbing the windows. There are only 5 questions. Question 1. What are 3 to 5 writer stereotypes that don't apply to you? So the first thing that I will say, the easiest one to think of, is I do not listen to music while I'm writing. I do not have playlists for any of my books. I do not associate characters, scenes, or anything that I write with any music at all. There's absolutely never any music involved in my writing process in any way. I have stopped to think about it, and there are a couple of points where characters in books are listening to music, but I am not. I do sometimes enjoy a good fireplace video during the winter, especially, and that's, most of the year. Winter is like 8 months long in Vermont. A second item is that I have only once that I can remember written in a coffee shop. And it may be that I wrote in a coffee shop other times, like when I was a teenager. But in recent years, there was one coffee shop excursion. And it was kind of fun. Pastries are delicious, but it was not especially productive, and so not really worth the hassle of arranging childcare and everything. So I have not repeated the experiment. Maybe someday. I'm not in a hurry though. A third thing that I think can be a stereotype about writers is that we are introverts, and that is not true of me. I do have my moments when I would rather just hole up. I am a little bit of a homebody sometimes, but I spend a lot of time taking my extremely extroverted 5-year-old out to go interact with everyone within shouting distance, and that works for me too. So I have a reputation as the mom who's always handing out invitations to parties. We have parties all the time for no particular reason, and although I was really shy as a child, I think I'm pretty outgoing at this point. Question 2. What is the hardest part of the writing process for you? So I do love revision overall, but I would say that the hardest step in the process for me is at the end of revisions, final polishing, feeling like everything could be the last time that I make a change, and really not wanting to screw anything up, wondering, am I making anything better now? Do I just need to stop and back away? And also just that terrible feeling that anything I add now is zero draft material being wedged into the middle, even if it's just a few words. It hasn't been revised, and it's stuck in the middle of stuff that's been revised 5 or 7 times, that I've read 20, 30 times, and it's extremely nerve-wracking. So I love the first round or 3 of revision, and I find anything further than that just gets scarier and scarier. Question 3. Do you ever feel imposter syndrome as a writer? How about as a YouTuber? From the way other people talk about it, I don't think I have experienced severe imposter syndrome. I do a lot of things to make it so I don't worry about that as much, which is to say, to some degree, I am worried about it. Worried that someone is going to say, who are you to call yourself a writer or think that your videos are worth watching? So I just tend to be quite careful. I try to be really clear that what I do on my channel is just share my process and document my experiences and, collect ideas that have worked for me or that I know have worked for some people and share them. And I think my second ever AuthorTube video, which was about revision, I said, this is not an instruction manual. This is an idea buffet. If anything appeals to you, help yourself. So I try really hard to be clear. I am not an authority on this in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a person having experiences and trying to share them with other people who may be having similar experiences. And so making sure that I come at it from that angle helps me not second guess myself too much. As far as imposter syndrome as a writer, I'm sure that if I ever experienced any sort of success, I would have it. I am intending to pursue traditional publishing, and so I do really, really hope that will work out for me. But I also acknowledge that if and when it does, I will start to seriously doubt myself. In the meantime, I just try to, keep people's expectations of me nice and low. Question 4 is, do you generally receive support or skepticism about your writing? And I definitely almost overwhelmingly receive support. Again, I'm careful who I share stuff with. So the benefit of always having a bunch of kids in tow when you go out and about into the world is that no one says, so what do you do? Which is the point when you could say, well, I'm a writer. But they can tell what I do. I just chase crazy children all the time. So that saves me from talking to strangers about it. I only discuss it with people I'm actually friends with, my family, my IRL writers group, and people online who, AuthorTube might be a little bit imperfect, but overall is awesome and full of really wonderful, supportive people. And question 5, what is one piece of advice you want to give to new writers? So this is going to sound like more than one piece of advice, but it's all along a theme, and the theme is don't give up. And in order to not give up, you want to keep thinking of yourself as a writer. You want to keep feeling like you are making some progress or taking some steps or pursuing this path in some way. And to that end, I say keep trying things. Be patient with yourself and with the things if it seems like they're not working. I have tried a lot of approaches that have been unsuccessful for me, and I think that just doggedly not pursuing the same thing necessarily if it really doesn't work, but continuing to find things to try is going to make it so that you don't lose sight of who you are, who you want to be. So try starting an AuthorTube channel, try going to an IRL writers group, try NaNoWriMo. If you hate it, maybe try Camp NaNoWriMo, which you can be a little gentler on yourself. And maybe try it twice, but don't feel like that approach, just because it works for some people, is going to be what works for you. Try writing in a coffee shop. Try listening to music or putting together playlists and soundtracks for your books or your characters. It totally doesn't work for me, but I know a lot of people who love it. So just keep trying. Try writing by hand. Try Scrivener or a different program that you haven't tried before. Try character worksheets where you fill out all kinds of questionnaires. Try reading craft books. Try the new book club on the channel Laura Writes, where my friend Laura is encouraging people to read craft books and discuss them together. Try jumping on live streams and chatting with new people. Try doing word sprints. Try different lengths of sprints. Just keep trying. And if you haven't been writing for a week, don't feel like you have lost and you need to give up. Don't let it become a month. Or if you haven't written for a month, don't let it become a year. Take a small step. Any little thing that makes you feel like you are still on this path. So thank you, Joey, for the tag. And until next time, I am Moon Petrie. Carry on defying writer stereotypes, or, embodying them if that's how you roll.